Let's just start with the dedication. Because this isn't just some story about technology. It's really a story about a certain kind of person. And maybe, just maybe, it's a story about you.
It's the story of one of those quiet builders, one of those lone thinkers, who decided, you know what? I'm going to take on one of the biggest challenges in modern science.
Yeah, this is the incredible story of how one man, from his home office, set out to build a brand new engine for scientific discovery. One that could totally change the world of medicine as we know it.
So let me introduce you to Mansour Ansari. Now, after a long, full career in software, he didn't exactly kick back and relax for a quiet retirement. Nope. Instead, he turned his back office into what he calls his quantum lab to go after a problem that, frankly, industry giants have been wrestling with for decades.
And you gotta understand, this isn't about profit. It's not about fame. It really comes down to this core belief he has that discovery, it shouldn't be locked away in these billion-dollar labs. It belongs to every single one of us. He wanted to, in his words, democratize science itself.
So his starting point, it wasn't some sterile, high-tech facility. It was a real, kind of cluttered, lived-in workspace. This is your classic David and Goliath story, right? All driven by curiosity, persistence, and, okay, maybe a little bit of help from his cat.
So, who's the Goliath in this story? Well, that's the absolutely staggering inefficiency of modern drug discovery. And trust me, this problem is way bigger than you probably think. Okay, first, let's talk money. Over $1 billion. That's the average price tag for one single successful medicine. I mean, that financial barrier alone means that only the largest corporations can even get in the game. And that locks out countless brilliant ideas.
And second, the time. We're talking a decade, sometimes 15 years, from the moment a promising molecule is found in a lab to when it can actually help a patient. I mean, for people who are waiting for a cure, that is an eternity. This is the bottleneck that Ansari decided to challenge. The contrast here is just stark. On one side, you have the slow, grinding traditional path, and on the other, a vision for something way faster, way more accessible. But how? I mean, how could one person possibly pull this off?
Well, the answer wasn't to try and outspend the giants. It was to outthink them. He decided to build a new kind of system, an engine for discovery, using modern tools, many of them completely free. Here's kind of how it works.
So the foundation of this engine is built on these open source powerhouses. Just think about that for a second. The world's entire scientific library, a huge database of molecules, powerful simulation software, it's all available for free. This is the scaffolding that makes independent discovery even possible. But here's the secret ingredient. Classical computers, the ones we use every day, they aren't actually random. They just pretend to be. They follow a predictable recipe. Quantum randomness, or QRNG, is totally different. It literally harvests randomness from the universe itself. It's truly, fundamentally unpredictable. So, why does this matter for discovering drugs? Ansari himself put it perfectly. He said, think of drug discovery like you're searching a giant forest. Classical randomness keeps exploring the same old well-trodden paths. But quantum randomness? It blazes new trails into hidden clearings that no one has ever seen before. And that is where you find something new. And all of this comes together into this really powerful pipeline. So first, you choose a protein you want to target. Then, you find a bunch of potential drug molecules. They're called ligands to test against it. Next up is the game changer. You seed the search with true quantum randomness. This lets the simulation explore all these unexpected ways the molecules might bind, before an AI comes in, filters everything, and ranks the most promising candidates. It's this perfect partnership between human, quantum, and AI.
But what's really incredible about all this is that this engine, it's not just for medicine. The core idea, using quantum randomness to explore incredibly complex systems, is a general-purpose framework. You can point it at some of our other biggest challenges.
For example, take weather forecasting. By applying the exact same principle to storm models, the QuantumTornado project was able to predict a tornado's path 4.5 hours earlier than standard methods. Now that's not just a small improvement, that is a life-saving amount of time.
Or how about materials science? The same pipeline can be used to discover brand new materials for things like carbon capture or building better batteries. The engine is the same, you just swap out proteins and drugs for chemical structures and performance goals. This thing is a framework for discovery, full stop. So
what's the ultimate point of all this? What's the big takeaway? Well, it's more than just a cool set of tools. It's a philosophy. And really, it's a challenge to all of us. Ansari describes the night his first big, successful run finally finished. There was no eureka moment in some fancy lab. It was just this quiet, personal victory, a little after midnight in a messy office, validated by a purring cat. It's just a simple reminder that discovery, at its heart, is a deeply, deeply human pursuit.
And that's the real takeaway here. It's not about your credentials. It's not about your budget. It's not about who's backing you. It's about your mindset. Science isn't something that just happens somewhere else. To other people, it's something you can actually do.
Look, the barriers are lower than they have ever been in human history. The tools are out there, they're accessible, the knowledge is open for anyone to find. The only thing left is the choice to begin. So, the question is, what problem are you going to solve? What will you build?